Do I have to be more indulgent with Britini because she has autism? So at the top of the episode, we see that Britini and Frenchie are on the block, and Britini is so pissed about it and she's crying. But Britini, to me, it was so obvious that she was not the target, and had I been in the house, I would have been scared for her game to be blown up because she's taking this out of proportion. She is lucky that Frenchie is a huge target. And you know what? I'm kind of torn about Britini, okay? Because we all know what she said in her intro package. She said that she has autism. And my first initial reaction to Britini was, oh my God, why is she being so emotional? Like, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, it is a big deal, but you're not the target. And Kylan clearly said that you're not the target. So why are you freaking out? You're just blowing up your game. And I wanted to say, like, oh my God, you're such a crybaby. Like, why are you doing this? And then I had to think, but I would say any player reacting that way, I would be comfortable saying that, right? Well, I mean, I'm comfortable saying that because I just said it, right? But do I have to be more indulgent with Britini because she has autism, right? Well, I don't even know if the fact that she's emotional is related to her autism, right? But I'm assuming that I don't even know what the definition of autism is, to be honest. Is it related to social cues? Is it people who have a hard time with social cues and adapting to social situations? Like, what is the definition of autism? And should I give her more grace because of that? Because I'm sure maybe she seems pretty cool. Like, she seems pretty chill. Like, I look at her and but growing up, was it a problem for her adapting in situation, and has that caused her any anxiety growing up? And I don't want to be the person to bring back those negative emotions if she was, for instance, bullied because of that or had a negative experience because of that. So this is what I'm wondering. So part of me feels like, oh my God, like, I don't understand why she's being like that. But part of me feels like, okay, girl, don't do too much because I don't want to put it out there. Anyways, I'm just gonna say that I'm cognizant of the fact that Britini has autism. So, okay, I'm gonna be more indulgent with her when she is emotional. But let's say if someone didn't have autism, like, how do you react? Or should we just be nice to anyone in general, right? Despite any preconditions they may have. So I'm really curious to know, what are your thoughts on this topic, and maybe anyone has autism and would want to talk about it, would want to say how they feel about that. The biggest thing I've noticed with autism is how it affects social cues. Exactly, that's what I was saying. So maybe, yeah, exactly. The fact that Kylan verbatim told her, like, yo, bro, you're not the target. I'm only targeting you because I want to get Frenchie out. It's not personally directed at you. And she's taking it very, very personally. And she's like, I'm never trusting Kylan, da da da. Ultimately, he had to make a choice. And the reason he gave you, which is the fact that you're aligned with Kylan, and the fact that you're in the same alliance by default because they're in the same team, right? The team, what's it called? Team Jokers. It makes sense that I put you on the block, but it's really not because I don't like you personally. So yeah, in terms of social cues, maybe she didn't quite get that. But then again, a lot of people on Big Brother make stupid moves without having autism. Like Devin BB16, right? He was a bit like, his reactions were really weird and he didn't have autism. So I don't know if I want to blame it on that, but I'm definitely more sensitive to Britini because of that, right? Then again, you ask yourself, is your personality something you can control ultimately, right? Do you have control over your personality? I have a random fact. I have a colleague who has a baby, right? And we had to go to the office one day, and the baby was just born back in November. And I asked that colleague, like, do you find that your kid now has a personality? And the colleague told me, yeah, it's crazy. As soon as my kid was born, he already had a personality. And that's making me think that, okay, so can you actually change who you are? Like, is your personality ingrained no matter who you are? Because when I think of myself, in general, my personality as a human hasn't changed, you know? I'm still the same human. Like, when I was a kid, my interests when I was a kid still remain as an adult right now. So that's something interesting to me. So David said, my childhood best friend was emotional like Britini is, and I feel he would have reacted the same way. And you continue saying, and even the Ian has autism, he won BB, so it's not fair to judge on that, everyone's different. Yeah, exactly. The point is, does that explain the behavior, right? It's not, because let me try to rephrase what I was trying to say. What I was trying to say is, a player who is neurotypical, right? That's how it's called. A player who is neurotypical and was having the same reactions as Britney, I wouldn't feel bad commenting about it, right? I wouldn't feel bad saying, okay, you need to chill, like it's not that serious. But when it's Britney, I'm gonna be extra careful explaining that, look, she has autism, and we need to be like we need to be more sensitive about that, right? To not just outright say, hey, it's weird. And yes, Ian won. Yeah, and like I said, Brittany was valedictorian of her school, so her autism is not limiting her. I mean, she may have challenges, right? But she seems to get by pretty good. Like, valedictorian is good, and like I said, Ian was pretty smart. Brittany is really smart. I do think that some people with autism are actually smarter than the, when we say smarter, I mean academically, because there are different types of intelligence, but academically, being able to retain information, studying, some people with autism do better than other people. Sasu says, I worked with autistic kids and it's all different. But for sure, it could have an effect on how intense her reaction was. Exactly.